Hi everyone, Maggie May here, and welcome to this free training on the 12 skills that you need to be successful online, and I'm going to touch on the 18 skills that you don't need to be successful online. Now, originally I was trying to use the free app BeLive.tv to do this, and I'm experiencing high load volume. Please try again in a few seconds, which doesn't impress me. So I am not going to be using that. I'm going to use the traditional good old Facebook Live. So I'm just going to introduce myself. I am a web designer and digital marketer. I live in the Okanagan of British Columbia, and I have been building websites for the last 5 years and started digital marketing with SEO about 3 years ago, and I guess now I'd have to actually look. And then slowly progress and taking more courses and all that kind of stuff into doing more and more digital marketing. I am certified in Facebook ads, Google AdWords, SEO, inbound marketing, and what I do is I build websites for my clients, e-commerce websites in particular, and my packages always include the marketing with them, so it is a nicely bundled package. What I wanted to talk about today was some of the skills that we need in order to be, I'm just bringing up my notes, in order to be successful online. And the reason for that, hold on one second. And the reason for that is I find a lot of people get really down on themselves because they don't know how to do everything online. They don't know the tech, they don't know how to design, and they don't know how to do all this stuff. And the message that I want to send is that you don't need to know all that stuff. You can contract it out, you can hire it out, but there are 12 skill sets that you must have in order to be successful online, and if you don't have them, then your chances of being successful are less likely. So give me 1 second. Because of technology, I'm making sure if I see any comments that I can see them, and so I'm bringing them up on my desktop, which is behind my computer. Okay, we should be good to go. So, a lot of these skills that I'm about to go into are what we would call soft skills. A lot of employers nowadays talk about soft skills, communication skills, customer service skills, all that kind of stuff. And the same principles apply to building an online business. So a lot of these are what you're going to go into. But I think if anybody has ever visited a store, you know that even though you can understand the principles of various skills, that doesn't mean that they necessarily use them. The thing that comes to mind for me is customer service skills. How many small businesses, or even large businesses, United comes to mind, that quote unquote promote the soft skills and customer service, but when it comes to actually doing it, they don't know what they're doing, and they fail big time. So a lot of these are going to sound really common sense, but the message that I want to get across to you is that you actually have to do them, and you have to actually be conscious of them and implement them in order to be successful. So the first one is communication. How to be effectively communicative in your online business is just as important as it is when you're in your offline business and working face to face. In fact, it can be even harder because a lot of our communication online is textual. So, texts and Facebook posts can get misinterpreted quite easily because the other 75% of the non-communication skill or the non-communication signals are not there, right? I can't read your facial expressions, I can't see anything, I can't get your tone of voice, and that makes up a huge part of our communication. So communicating when you own an online business, you have to be really clear. You need to eliminate all your sarcasm and your inside jokes because it may or may not be interpreted correctly. So it's really, really important to do that. Number 2 is researching. You have to have the ability to do research. You have to know how to use Google. A lot of the time, the answers to your problems can be solved with a simple Google search. So, and all social media platforms also have searches as well, but being able to do research is really, really important. You need to be able to plan. This is really important, and I know a lot of people can actually struggle with this, is how to plan. And there are various tools out there on how to plan, which I'll touch about in 2 seconds. But you actually have to have a plan. You have to still have a business plan even though you're working online. When I applied for my financing to get my concession trailer, I had to write a formal business plan in order to even get the financing. Yep, you don't necessarily have to do that to start online, and so a lot of people skip that step, and it's not a lot of fun to do anyways, but it's still really important to plan. So some of the tools that I use to plan, obviously I'm not at the stage of planning my business, so it's not a business plan, but there are free business planning tools out there. But some of the things to keep myself organized and planning is I use Asana, which is free, ASANA. I use Trello, which is free. I'm using more Asana than Trello nowadays. I use a lot of Evernote, and I use a lot of my iCal. I'm on a Mac, so it's iCal. But your Google calendars would be the same, and then spreadsheets. So staying organized and planning and establishing, okay, where's my goal? What do I need to get there? What are the steps that I need to get there? And you work backwards in order to establish your plan. And it's really, really important, especially if you want to be successful and make a profit. You have to know what your expenses are. You need to know what you're actually going to be charging. So all of that is really, really important. You have to budget. Shiny syndrome. Really, really easy to spend a lot of money. I get emails every day from JVZoo on different affiliate programs and different products to buy, and a lot of them are great. It's really, really easy to spend a lot of money really quick. You have to have self-control. So you have to be able to budget, and you have to know what your basic expenses are, which honestly is not a lot. You don't need a lot of money to get started online. You do need to know what those expenses are, how much money you need to make in terms of the service and products that you're selling, and then you scale from there. You need to have the skills of scheduling. So, I'm going to take a sip of the black coffee. If you come from the world where someone else is doing your schedules for you, this could be new. If you're not used to scheduling, it will be new. And there we go. So you do need to sit down and do your schedule. So I use the same tools that I mentioned last time in the planning and in the budgeting, which is Asana is my biggest one because they have a calendar integrated with it, and you can it's nicely set up all of your tasks and everything in order to schedule and have a timeline. Something that I see a lot, and I know why people don't do this, is take action. There's a lot of fear with taking action, especially when you have your own business and you're putting yourself out there. There's fear. There's fear of rejection. There's fear of criticism. There's fear of failure, which is a huge one. There are a lot of fears, and I get that. But at the same time, if you don't take action, you're not going to get anywhere. So you have to work through the fears. And there is a book. I want to say it's Tara Moore's book. I'm going to bring it up. That talks about fears, and feel the fear and do it anyways is a common one. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert is another really, really, really good one. But I can't find Tara Moore's book, which is probably because, Playing Big is an amazing book on talking about feeling the fear and doing it anyways. So I will, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to put the link to my recommended readings below. And you can check them out of the various books that I read that helps me with that. So there you go. Delegating. At the beginning, it's hard to delegate your tasks because you have no income coming in, but eventually at some point, in order for you to start scaling, you need to delegate. And a lot of that time can be involving hiring a VA or contracting out, hiring content marketers in my case, or finding someone on Fiverr to do a sales letter, or finding someone on Upwork, or whatever it may be. At some point you need to be able to delegate, and that takes time, because suddenly, even though they're taking work off your plate, you still have to not only delegate but oversee what they're doing. So it's a very, very soft skill that you really, really need in order to have an online business. You have to do follow-up. A lot of the times when it comes to me getting clients, it's all being about the follow-up. Now that's, if someone contacts me, I always follow up and say, hey, it's been a week. Do you have any comments or questions? That's part of it. But the other part of it is being available. And you have to be available to your peoples and answer their questions. It's part of the customer service part of it is doing your follow-up, but you actually have to do, be available to your, especially online. There can be more anxiety and more fear about working with someone online, especially in my industry with marketing and web design, of being taken. So how I overcome that is I am always available through email, but usually Facebook Messenger is my number one way for people, my clients, to contact me and ask me questions and to get me involved, or if there's a problem. So follow up and being available is really, really important. You have to understand your numbers. This is a business. This isn't a hobby, right? It's a business. You need to know how much revenue is coming in. You need to know how much expenses are going out. You need to know if you're making a profit, and you need to know what to do if you're not making a profit. You have to understand accounting. You don't necessarily need to know how to do all your data entry, because there's tools out there. I use Wave Accounting, but you need to understand the numbers. It's really, really important regardless of what kind of business you're running. You need to be flexible. We tend to like, as a human nature, predictability, and we tend to like knowing what's coming at us, right? But especially when you're online, where tools are changing so often, you need to be flexible. It's there's new tools coming, especially in my industry with digital marketing. I have new tools coming in all the time. The social media platforms are changing all the time. Facebook is changing the ad platform all the time. Same with Google, because they're competing with one another. So I'm constantly having to adapt to my industry. And that's going to pretty much be the same regardless. You're constantly going to have to keep an eye on your competitors, see what they're offering, how can you do it better, how can you improve your services. You have to be flexible. So as much as we really, really like to have predictability in our business, being an entrepreneur and being online, you need to be really flexible. And if you find that that's really, really hard on you, you either have to work on it, I'm going to be honest with you, or you need to find some other source of income. I'm just not going to sugarcoat it, because I don't want people to think that they can't. Now, that being said, we're adaptable. Even though you're not flexible, you can behave flexibly in your business. So, it's not the end of the world if you're not flexible, just to be honest with yourself about it. You need to be objective. We get very personal with our businesses, and we need to remember that our businesses are just that, a business. We need to be objective. We need to take our emotions out of it and see it for what it is. So don't stick your head in your sand if something's not working. If something's not working, you need to go and find somebody who's an expert in that field and get them to help you. You'll notice that all these skills, I'm on skill 11, they're all soft skills. I'm not talking about the hard skills. If you don't know how to build a website, that's okay. People are out there that will. If you don't know how to do marketing, there are people out there who will. You don't need to know all that. And being objective, but also a little bit humble of your own skill set and focusing on your skill set, whereas instead of focusing on your strengths instead of your weaknesses, is what's going to make your business grow in the long run. And then lastly, and most important, is the persistence and the perseverance. Rome was not built in a day. How cliche is that, saying? We see a lot of what looks to us, people are instantly successful online, but the truth of the matter is they've been working behind the scenes in some little corner of the world for 1, 2, 5, 10, or 1. So keep that in mind. You're not going to be successful overnight. I'm sorry, you're just not. I really hope you are, but the statistics say that you're not. It takes time to do this. So you really have to have a lot of faith. You have to have a lot of hope. You have to have a lot of belief in yourself in order to be successful online. And if you have all that, you will succeed. And to celebrate your little wins. I had a conversation with one of my clients, it was last week or the week before, just about this, and she was just feeling like everything, all the negative was coming to her. She was failing in this and failing in that, and it just wasn't working out. And I was like, don't worry about it, just roll with it. And sure enough, the next day, a whole bunch of positive stuff started coming to her. People making calls, I want your products, blah, 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 blah. And it totally did a flip. And that's online business. It will be down at the bottom today, and it'll be up at the top tomorrow, and then it's a really big roller coaster, and you just got to roll with it. So those are the 12. I'm going to quickly call them out again. Communication, ability to research, ability to plan, budgeting, scheduling, taking action, delegating, follow-up, understanding your numbers, flexibility, objectivity, and persistence and perseverance. Now, the skills that a lot of people get caught up on that you don't need, because you can contract it out, and I'll share you where I get some of my tools from, are the following. The ability to write, especially copywriting, sales copywriting, how to build a website and how to maintain it, how to do graphic design, how to do link building, how to do more effective research, in-depth research. This is a duplicate from the other one, but you can contract out a lot of research. Reading or spying on your competition. Implementing your communication skills, so this will be like your email marketing and your social media marketing. All of your creative aspects. You don't need to be a creative person to be online. There are lots of creative people out there who want to get paid to do the creativity for you. You need to be anybody that, if you're not organized, you can hire a VA to be organized, or an online business manager. Time management, again, you can hire somebody to do that for you. Your networking, you can hire somebody to do that for you. Your domain name and hosting knowledge, don't do that. Let me trust me on that one. Hire somebody else to do that one. Software and coding, same thing, hire it out. The ability to spot areas of opportunity to make suggestions. Other eyes are really, really good for helping you grow your business. In my Facebook group, I often will ask their opinion because I just need that other set of eyes, right? It's really, really important. And of course, being a team player attitude. So those are the quick and dirty 18, I do believe, skill sets that you can contract out. Now, where do I find when I need to contract something out? I'm not at the point where I actually have a VA And I still do all my own marketing and web design for my clients because I think that's really important that I do the work. They're hiring me. I need to do the work. But there are some things that I contract out. I'll contract out copywriting. I'll contract out some designing, video editing, all that kind of stuff. And then first place I usually go is Fiverr. There are some, poor quality services on Fiverr, but if you search for the top sellers only for whatever you're looking for and go with that, it's usually, I'm usually pretty good and read the reviews and read the description really quickly. I have a lot of success with that. The other thing is, of course, Upwork. If you're looking for a VA and you're budget friendly, you can find people on Upwork, especially in other countries, and they'll charge you anywhere from $5 to $10 an hour. So depending on, the quality of service that you're looking for, that can be a very viable option, because a lot of the VAs around where I am charge a lot more, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, but you may not be able to afford it. So if you're not being able to afford it, you can still find a VA overseas, is what I'm getting at. So there's lots of options out there. So if you're wanting, this is actually a free checklist that you can download. If you're wanting the free checklist, I'm going to put it in the comments right now. You can download it. There's the link. You can download it and you can read it and keep it for yourself and go over it and decide, what you need to work on. And my biggest message for you is take action, stay humble, and have a lot of faith and a lot of hope. So we're pretty much at the 30-minute mark, which is what my goal was. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I really appreciate it. Leave your comments, questions, and concerns in the comments below, and I will try to get back to them as soon as possible. Have a wonderful day. It is Friday, 10 o'clock here,